Hello. Did you know that there are some really straightforward, easy ways to find out what's going on with a California bill? When we want to do an analysis, there's a couple of really hot tips that will help you come up to speed on a bill very quickly. Let's take a look. You've already had an active California bill approved for this assignment, so let's take a look at the steps. What we're going to be doing is preparing an analysis of the bill leading up to a roundtable discussion in class. The roundtable discussion during a class session is in place of a paper, but the preparation will be the same. For a quick review, when you find a bill, you want to look it up on the California Legislative Information website. One of the fast ways to find a bill, by the way, is to look on the publications in the legislative index. It's a PDF file that will open, and when it opens, let's say you wanted to see if there are other bills on the same topic, you could put in a search. In this case, I've put in the search for a home visit, and I see that there is one bill, AB 607, available on home visiting programs. So once I open up AB 607, the first thing I want to do is look at the status. I also, from the title page, I can see whether or not if it's active or if it has been passed into law. And in this case, this bill was just approved by Governor Newsom on October 6th, 2025. So this is not an active bill, but I wanted to show you some features of a bill once it's gone through the whole process. So when we click on the status tab, we look down at the bottom, we can see the type of measure where the pink arrow is, and it says it's an inactive bill because it's been chaptered. Chaptered means it gets the code number of the law. In the red area, we can see the progress the bill made through the Assembly, was heard 3 times with one committee meeting and it passed. Then they sent it over to the Senate, who heard it for 3 times and it was passed. And then because the Senate made a few changes, the bill went back to the Assembly to pass again before it went to the governor for signing. So when we take a look at this bill, we can see that the title of the bill is CalWORKS Home Visiting Program. And we can read that the first paragraph explains the existing law establishes a CalWORKS program under which each county provides cash assistance and other benefits to low-income families and individuals. And it does also include the CalWORKS Home Visiting Program to support positive health, development, and well-being outcomes for pregnant and parent people, families, and infants born into poverty. So this program is good up for 24 months or until the child's 2nd birthday, whichever is later. However, existing law required a voluntary participant to meet specified criteria. And this bill is to expand on that and to make it more amenable for the child to have sufficient home visit services. So if we look at the bill analysis tab, this is a tab you might not have looked at yet. You'll see the analysis each time it went to committee or each time it went to vote, starting with the Assembly, then to the Senate, and then to the Assembly one more time. It goes from the oldest analysis at the bottom and the most recent one at the top. So when it goes to committees, you can actually see what committees are available. This is a list of the committees from the Assembly webpage. And here's a list of committees. You can see a few of them at the bottom there on the California Senate webpage. So if you ever want to know more about a committee, you can just click on the link and it will bring you there. So let's take a look at the first analysis that was done. And it was done in March from the Assembly. And it gives us a summary. So if you are working on analysis of a bill, you can look here for the summary of it. You don't have to work on it so hard, just reference the analysis. It talks about existing law. It goes through data, provides data for you. It provides people and agencies that are in favor of the law passing. It provides information about which stakeholders perhaps are against it and why. So this analysis is really a time saver if you're looking into a bill to bring it into your patient care population. So here's the more recent one from the Senate. And we can see here the Senate Rules Committee that this was the third reading of the bill for them. And this one I give you a little bit more of an overview how it looks. So the digest here in the middle of the left side indicates that it changes the CalWORKS home visiting program by clarifying that who could be eligible, extending the program length, and allowing parents of children up to 24 months old to participate. So it's actually expanding the law a little bit. On the right-hand side, it's just page 1 of several pages. It gives a summary of the amendments that the Senate wanted to do. So these were some changes that were made. We can see on the right-hand side the 5 Senate amendments, and then there's comments. And within these comments, it goes on in the other pages following, includes descriptions, it includes jurisdictions, it includes data. So you don't have to search on the internet or on a library webpage. You can come right here and let the Senate and the Assembly do the analysis for you, essentially. So then after we've looked at the bill and we've read the analyses from the Senate and the Assembly, then we want to know what is the position of community organizations. So at this point, now that I've read the analysis from the legislature, I know that it's a program within CDSS, the California Department of Social Services. So I can click on the CDSS website and I could search for, and I did, CalWORKS Home Visiting Program. And there it is. And we can see there's 3 buttons on the left there above the mission statement, that there's a link for families. HVP is Home Visiting Program. There's a link to the county resources throughout the state, and there's a link to collaborative partners, stakeholders, right? So if we look at this also then by clicking through on the Home Visiting Program website, these are a list on the right. You can see the state of California with the home visiting program models that exist. Each county could contract or supported one model or another, and they're all listed there. San Diego is in a pink zone. Actually, you can see 3 from the top there. I'm sorry, 2nd from the top in the purple. San Diego County uses Healthy Families America. So then let's go to the San Diego County Health Department website, in fact, because they're the ones that supervise this. And if we look at the maternal, child, and family health services provided by San Diego County Public Health, in the bullet list there on the left, we can see that there's a perinatal care network, which is underlined because that's the program that manages the family support systems. So when we look at the perinatal care network, we can see the green button at the bottom, referrals to family support programs, and there's the home visiting program, the HVP. And it tells you that public health nurses provide the home visits to support high-risk postpartum and first-time moms, and it even gives you the phone number directly to the nurses department. Then if you'd like to know more about the home visiting program, you can click on that link there. And you can see they have a website devoted to the home visiting program. And on the right-hand side is the bottom of this web page. You can learn more about Healthy Families America, and you can find research and evidence on how effective it is. There's your data. And then there's program eligibility and who do we serve, and some brochures and how to get connected to a public health nurse and get a home visit started for yourself. The next part of the paper, or the next part of the focus topic assignment anyway, is the ethical critique. There are the 4 principles that you could decide which one is relevant, or 2. In most of the cases that we're looking at, it's going to be do good and don't do harm. But mostly we're interested in how are you going to match this issue with the American Nurses Association Code of Ethics, the 10 provisions. So with the 10 provisions, their dignity and respect, especially if we're going into our patient's home, we want to have respect there. Our primary commitment is to, notice it's to the recipients of nursing care, including families as patient. Trust and advocacy is important as well. So let's take a look at Provision 2. The nurse's primary commitment is to the recipients of nursing care, whether an individual, family, group, committee, or population. And when we look at the definition of 2.1, which is primary commitment to recipients of nursing care, I've highlighted in green the areas of prioritization that change when our family is our client. We prioritize the recipients over institutions. We commit to the nursing inherent dignity, worth, and unique attributes and the human rights. And we provide the patients, in this case, especially in the home visiting program, with opportunities to participate in assessing their own capacity for planning and implementing their plan of care and deciding which supportive services are acceptable to them. Just because we have them available doesn't mean that's going to be right for that family. And so then the nurse facilitates informed decision making as members of the healthcare team and the family. We also address patient interests, which requires us to recognize what the patient's values are and what their preferences and their commitments to their families. And we act to preserve life and promote health as determined by the family's values. There's also Provision 3 might apply in this particular case. The nurse establishes a trusting relationship and advocates for the rights, health, and safety of the recipients of care. And you can go through those and look at those. Then the whole point of doing this would be to come to a stage of evaluation. Do we support, after we've read this, do we support it? Do we want to change or suggest an amendment? And how do we contact a legislator then? So to contact your legislator, there's a website on Find Your California Representatives, and you can enter your home address. And here I entered the home address of Azusa Pacific University, and we see that the state assembly district is Blanca Rubio, and for the Senate is Susan Rubio. So if we go to Blanca Rubio's website, because it's an assembly bill, I want to talk to my assembly person, right? And if I look around on her website, I can see the button that says Contact Me. And when I click on that button, it opens up the contact form on her website. And I can enter the information about myself and select an issue. And in the comments, notice down there in very grayish font, it says limit to a maximum of 2,000 characters. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, I'll answer that in just a minute, but first let's figure out how are we going to say something to her? What are we going to say? How are we going to plan for that? So if we go to the ANA California website, the California chapter is all about the Advocacy Institute for Nurses. And if we scroll down on that home page, we come to the advocacy templates and scripts. So if we look at the templates and scripts and scroll down about halfway on that page, we get to this section, how to write an email or letter to a legislator. It gives us a template that we can use and fill in the details to make it specific to what we want to communicate. So once you have the template, highlight it and paste it into a Word document because it's a lot easier to edit it in a Word document. And you can see the edits that I made on the right from the template on the left. And sometimes you want to tweak it a little bit. For instance, instead of saying my colleagues and I support this, if I'm writing as a graduate nursing student, I let them know that. I could say my classmates and I are in support of this bill. Then the second paragraph is as you may know, and this is where you put some data in. And the data that's listed there is from the bill analyses from the committees in the legislature. And then the final paragraph, my nursing colleagues, neighbors, and I are advocating for our vulnerable families and trust you'll vote in support of AB 607. And then the safety and health of California's families and children depend on your vote. Now, once I have that done, then I click on View, the View menu in Word, and then I click on the icon for word count. And a pop-up will come up, will tell me how many words are in the highlighted area. Do highlight it first. But it will also tell me how many letters are in there and how many characters are in there. So characters also include hyphens and punctuation and blank spaces. So because the assembly person's website contact form said limit it to 2,000 characters, I need to know how many characters my text is. And this text here, believe it or not, is about 1,700 characters. I still had room for a couple more sentences if I wanted to. So once we have the analysis done, which is what we've just been looking at, we need to evaluate it. Are we going to support it? How are we going to connect with stakeholders? What are the community stakeholder views? What's the impact going to be? And so that would be the final step in an analysis. And when we look at stakeholder views, this is where then you'll have done this prep ahead of time and bring your prep to class. During class, we'll have a round-robin brainstorming activity where there'll be 4 of you at a table, and then I will present a question to the class, and you'll listen to the question, think about answers that might be appropriate from the bill you evaluated, and then in a round-robin circle or a round discussion, contribute one answer that you can think of out loud, and then listen to the answers that each of your teammates will share, and you'll have a handout to be able to jot down just ideas about what the classmates are saying. Then there will be another answer that nobody has mentioned yet when it's your turn again, and you just keep doing that until the time is up. That really is a very fast way that business uses many people to collaborate to evaluate the value of moving forward on something or what ideas we need to implement to change it and make it better. So here at the end of this PowerPoint is also links with to some additional resources for advocacy and action. So go forward and advocate, and we'll see you in class for the round robin very soon.